God is real. Unborn life is life. There are two genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism.
Okay, friends, I got Vivek Ramaswamy on my screen. Link in the description below with all my commentary. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Let's get to the video. Listen, this happened just a couple days ago with Tucker Carlson. I think Blaze TV had hosted this, I guess, Republican town hall in somewhat, where Tucker Carlson was asking some very good questions. So this is a speech from Vivek Ramaswamy, and powerful, very powerful. I don't know if YouTube is going to allow this video to stay on the website, but we're going to try anyway. This stuff is strong. Let's take a listen.
Thank you guys for the warm welcome. We're going to speak the truth. That's how we do it. I'm going to get right into it. We are in the middle of a national identity crisis. You take it from me. I'm 37 years old. I'm the first millennial ever to run for U.S. president as a Republican.
True.
And I will tell you, thank you. I'll tell you what's going on in our country. It's true in my generation. It's true of all of us right now. We are hungry for a cause. We are hungry for purpose and meaning and identity at a time in our national history when the things that used to fill our void, faith, patriotism, hard work, family, these things have disappeared.
Yep.
And that leaves a black hole in its wake. What happens when you have a black hole that runs that deep? The poison begins to fill the void.
Yep.
Wokeism, transgenderism, climatism, COVIDism,
Isms.
depression, anxiety, fentanyl, suicide. You think it is an accident that we see the same secular religions in the United States at the same time? It is not. These are symptoms of a deeper void in our country. And I think that is our opportunity now, as a conservative movement, to now finally level up and say we are no longer just running from something. We're going to start running to something, to our vision of what it means to be an American today.
Powerful.
You ask somebody my age that question, what does it mean to be an American? You get a blank stare in response. That is the vacuum. That is the void. And now is our moment to deliver an answer to that question, what it means to be an American, that dilutes the woke agenda to irrelevance. Let's talk about it.
Okay.
What does it mean to be an American? It means we believe in meritocracy, the pursuit of excellence,
right.
that you get ahead in this country, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. That is why we will end affirmative action in every sphere of American life. It is a cancer on our national soul.
I agree.
It means we believe in the rule of law, that your first act of entering this country cannot break the law. That is why we will use the U.S. military to secure our own southern border. That is what it means to defend this country.
Exactly.
It means we believe that the people we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government. Not this bureaucracy, the deep state, the administrative state that runs the show today. And that is why I've said that we're not just going to reform these agencies. When these agencies, from the Department of Education to the FBI to the ATF to the IRS, shouldn't have never existed in the first place. We will not just reform them.
Wow.
We will shut them down.
Wow. That's huge. That's huge. Good reasons, of course, when you know how these agencies have been weaponized by I will say particularly the Democratic Party, to either control the opposition, to shut down conversations, or to lock up those whom they disagree with. For example, Mr. Trump. The indictment that is behind that is a political movement. Why? Because Biden has done the same. I was talking to someone and I realized how much the media, again, brainwash people. They really do. And the person was talking about why Trump is not locked up behind bars, what's going on, this anti-Trump spirit. And I said, but did you know that the papers that Trump had, the declassified documents that he had every right to owning them and declassify them as a president under the Presidential Act? They didn't even know that. I said, did you know Biden had more papers and he had them in all different places and he was not even a president, meaning he had no right to having these papers? Did you know that? The individual said, no, I never knew that. But they were pushing this message, anti-Trump message, not realizing that Biden is guilty of the same thing. So is that the power of the media and how it is weaponizing different organizations to carry out a particular perspective concerning Trump? The goal is to make sure Trump doesn't win. Because Trump, as the Republican frontrunner, looks so good right now. Some of them are very concerned. And I'm like, the fact that they're concerned tells me why Trump needs to be stopped. And I kind of agree with what Vivek is saying. I know it's a mouthful for some, but if the system is not being used for what it was created for, what's the point of them existing? Now, we are alleging YouTube. I'm reacting. I know some of you like to censor everything. That is a perspective that needs to be considered.
That is what it means to live in a constitutional republic. That is what this campaign is all about. We are speaking the truth, the hard truth, without apology. We will do it without fear. We will speak the truth today. God is real. Unborn life is life. There are two genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the best known form of governance to mankind. Capitalism is the best system known to man to lift people up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government, not 4, and the U.S. Constitution is the strongest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is the truth. We will not back down from the truth. We stand up for the truth. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what will win us the revolution of 2024.
You know he's on fire, right? He is on fire. He's saying things that very few people are willing to say with boldness. Very few Republicans are willing to speak that way. For as young as he is, successful as he is, and intelligent as he is, he gets my attention. I think even Trump needs to be aware that Vivek Ramaswamy, I know a lot of people will love Trump, and including myself. This is a guy we need to watch because he is at a lightning speed, conquering to conquer. He is way up there. I think he's like somewhere right after Ron DeSantis. That is actually amazing. That is amazing for a guy who, with no experience, just came into politics, young, a millennial, but knows how to talk, understands the system. Boy, is he good. And I'm telling you, he gets my attention. He gets my attention.
That is what it means to be an American today.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, don't worry. There's more. I'm just getting warmed up.
It's funny.
So we're speaking the truth. Now let's get to the hard truth.
Brace yourself for this one.
I've said that other stuff before. This is the hard truth I must say today. I would love to tell you that it's time to move forward. I believe we have to move forward as a country. I would love to tell you that it's morning in America again. Kumbaya, let's get along and move ahead and put the past behind us. There will be a time and place for that. But we cannot move forward in this country until we have truly reckoned with the truth of what happened in this country in 2020. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about that truth in the open.
Yep.
There is no healing without acknowledgement. You want to know the truth about 2020?
All right, it's going to go into something very sensitive right now for a lot of politicians, even YouTube and these platforms who have an issue with this. Again, this is his perspective. I'm listening. I'm reacting. I'm not saying I agree. I'm saying it must be heard. It must be considered. All right. I know the censorship gurus are very determined to control people's conscience because of thought crimes. I'm just saying this is a video. This is a reaction channel. Let's keep going.
Let's talk about it. From COVID to censorship to the election to January 6th. They will tell you that January 6th was caused by a single man whose name is unspeakable. His name is QAnon.
His name is QAnon.
Now, the truth is this. January 6th was the result of a pervasive culture of censorship across this country. And when you tell people they cannot speak, that is when they scream. You tell people they cannot scream, that is when they tear things down. And what happened in this country, that starting in 2020, we were told that there's a pandemic that we know began in a lab in Wuhan on the other side of the world. We knew it then. But you could not say it or else you were a racist. You could not say it or they would lock your social media accounts down. You were told that you had to stay locked down in your homes and you couldn't protest a lockdown. You couldn't talk about school lockdowns on social media. You had to stay locked in your basement even as BLM and Antifa traveled the streets of this country and burned them to the ground. You were told that it takes somehow 10 years to make a new medicine or a vaccine, or else you can't take it unless it's safe for 10 years.
Yeah.
And yet, they develop a vaccine in less than a year, and they mandate that you take it without asking any questions.
Wow. He's on fire. I'll save my comment. He's on fire.
And you were told that if you disagree with all of this, that if you don't like the direction of this culture of censorship and authoritarianism in the United States, that you have an election to set this right. That in our republic, you get one person, one vote to hold the people in charge accountable. And you were told that you had a chance to actually deliver it. And yet, on the eve of that election, a story is published about the Hunter Biden laptop story that we now know was absolutely grounded in truth, from bribes paid from China to, remember this one, bribes paid from Burisma, a Ukrainian company whose owner was on the board of the State National Security Council paying bribes to now the son of the President of the United States.
Wow.
That is now making good on that bribe by sending $200 billion of American taxpayer money to defend somebody else's border halfway around the world instead of defending our own border here at home. You were told...
Vivek Ramaswamy, boy. Heartburn over here. Heartburn. Same.
that we actually had an election in this country, and yet, what happened? They did not let you send that story on social media. They shut down the account of the fourth largest paper in circulation in the United States, the New York Post, founded by Alexander Hamilton. That is how you get to January 6th.
Now, that's okay. He alleged. We don't know for certain if these things are true. But these are things that has not been shared. Apart from what we've heard, one man is guilty for the crime of these individuals, right? For the action of January 6th, what these people did, right? I want to hear you. I want to understand you, but it doesn't seem to make a lot of sense. It seems like there is one size fits all answer kind of thing, which is not making a lot of sense. What Vivek Ramaswamy is alleging here must be considered, because the why hasn't been, we're talking about what happened a lot, but the why it happened is slightly addressed. Apart from the fact we need to condemn Trump for it, which makes no sense because he had called the National Guard and Nancy Pelosi knew about this and made sure that no National Guard was given. So there were tips, there were things given, there were things said. He's called for peace. He was on his social media. He was on his Twitter platform. His account was shut down so that he was not able to speak to the people. A number of things were going on that are very questionable. So I will not blame Trump so much for this. There has to be other reasons. So I think if Vivek Ramaswamy is wrong for what he is alleging here, well, give me a better answer then. I would like to hear from somebody else the real reason. Don't just tell me Trump, because that doesn't seem to be the case. Tell me the real reasons why the people did what they did. Were they really criminals? Or were they people who really loved their country and wanted what was best, but they went about doing it the wrong way? Could it be that? Or was this really a Trump rally? Was this a bunch of white supremacists who wanted to just take down the government? Was this even... A lot of questions are left unanswered. All I'm saying is Vivek Ramaswamy is up to something here. He is giving a perspective here that is not even talked about, even among Republicans. And I'm like, but must be considered.
And so that is the truth. And we're not going to be able to move forward until we look ourselves in the mirror and ask ourselves deep down
in the mirror
who we really are as a people. My rule is, if Vladimir Putin were doing it, and we would call it a threat to democracy, it is a threat to democracy when we do it here at home ourselves. That is the truth.
And I know we like to blame these other nations, from the East, and from the South. China, enemy. Russia, enemy. Iran, enemy. We got all these enemies, right? But, our enemies are from within, right? They're not from without. Like, how many Americans are dying in China or in Russia right now? How many Americans do you know have been killed? But how many Americans are dying inside of this country? How much drugs have come across our borders through Mexico that we call our friends? Why aren't we asking those questions? It's almost like, I think they want us to believe our enemies are without. But I'm realizing the enemies are within the system. It's not the Russians that are trying to trans our children, right? Creating a new gender for our kids. It's not Russia that's infiltrating the schools that are telling us that men can have babies. That's not Russia that are doing that. That's not China that are doing that. They don't do that in their country. Now, yeah, you can argue that TikTok probably plays a role. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think social media definitely has a significant role in the way that the country responds and behave, the youth. But what I'm trying to say is the real enemy of America live inside of the American system. It's in our school. It's in our diet. It's in our medical system. It's in our politics. It's in our churches. That's where it is. Before you go kill and go after China and funding a war in Ukraine, which you can, which I don't agree with our taxpayer dollars. But before you go and do that, can we talk about the ones within? Can you talk about the issues that's going on within this country, inside of the country? The corruption from within? Let's talk about that.
And once we acknowledge the truth, then we can have a conversation about actually moving forward in this country.
I don't know if they want to move forward.
I grew up, I'll tell you about it, into a generation where we were taught to celebrate our diversity and our differences.
Okay.
So much that we forgot all of the ways we are really just the same as Americans.
There goes my message.
That's what we've forgotten as Republicans, as conservatives, as Americans. There are people in this race who are deeply upset with me for not criticizing my chief opponent in this race, Donald Trump. And I will tell you, I'm not running against anybody in this race. I am running for our country. That is what we actually need to revive. We need to stop running from something. We need to start running to something.
I like that guy. I'm telling you, I like that guy. Like, if Trump didn't have my heart, this will be my second. This will be, he has my vote. Trump has my vote for the presidency. But if he runs either to be a vice president of some sort, I'm supporting him because he'll be such a perfect fit. He is so good, man. I like that guy. I really do. Common sense, truth, confidence. And he's a straightforward shooter. I like everything about him.
Our diversity is not our strength. Our strength is what unites us across that diversity.
Ah, love that. Our diversity is not our strength. Our strength is what unites us across that diversity. Nice.
Without a think about it. We're really just a different looking group of two-legged higher mammals walking some geographic space we call a country, doing what our iPhones told us to do on a given day. That's not America.
That is not America.
America is a vision of what that place can be. E pluribus unum, we say for a reason. It means from many, one. That's what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War. That is what won us 2 world wars and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus is going to defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about. And that is what we together will revive to save this great nation. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless your families. And God bless our United States of America.
Powerful. We're not going to hear the music. This was great. Vivek is so good for a number of reasons. His attitude is right. His mannerism is great. His way of talking is also some very articulate, know what he's talking about, has a good knowledge, and he's young. And I'll tell you another thing you need to know about this man. I'm telling you, like, even Trump needs to watch it. For as much as winning as he's having, Vivek is, I'm telling you, he is like running really, really fast behind Trump. Here's the thing. This man knows how to use the media to his advantage. Just do a little bit of research lately on many of the recent presidents, and you notice something that they have in common. They use the power of the media to their advantage. Happened in Colombia, happened in Haiti as well, happened even with Trump. The media actually made Trump win, okay? I don't know if Joe Biden used the media as well. It's just old. I think he had to. I don't know. I don't know if he was elected or selected. Let's leave that alone. But I found this to be true, that if you know how to appeal to the young people through the use of social media, your presidency will look really, really good. It's not just going from door to door, city to city nowadays. Get on YouTube, get on Twitter, get on TikTok and start talking. Watch what happens with people and their perspective concerning you. It changes real quick. I really love this guy. I don't think everything about him is right. But again, I love what he's trying to do here. The goal is he's trying to bring the people together. That's what makes Vivek Ramaswamy a great candidate. He's trying to actually unite the country. And he seems to have the guts and the heart to do it. My question is now, does he have the experience and the muscle to carry it out? I'm not convinced when it comes to that. To be honest with you, this is why he doesn't have my vote as a president, because there's a lot of politicians who come into the scene and they say all the right stuff. But when they get in a game, they do all the wrong stuff. It's one thing to have great visions and ideas before when you enter the race. It's one thing to say all the right stuff, but it's another thing to have the muscle to carry it out. Not everyone could do that. I don't think very few politicians could do what Donald Trump has been able to do, because he has the muscle. All right. So you can have the heart, you can have the visions, you can have the ideas, you can even have the policy. But when you start facing the opposition, when death threats begins to come, when indictments is knocking at the door, when they're taking away your money, your status, when you're being blackmailed, when the lives of your family is at stake because of your visions and dreams, can you stand? Would you bend? This is where you see real from fake, from willing, from phonies, from those who try, but from those who can actually get it done. And I don't know if I'm very much convinced that Vivek Ramaswamy got it in that sense. This is probably where he loses me. It's not because of everything else he's doing is right, but he loses me when it comes to actually carrying out these activities, these things that he's saying, putting them into place in laws, in policy, having them voted. I mean, things are looking good for the GOP right now, having the majority that are Republicans. So things kind of look good for Republicans, and a lot more could be done when the Republicans win back the House. But still, I have my doubts. And again, that's where I stand. I could be wrong, but I would like to hear from you. Like and subscribe to the page, click the bell icon for more. Listen, guys, one thing I love that Vivek does is the fact he's bringing people together. His goal is not to divide the country. That's already divided enough. You're not going to unite everybody, but you should try as much as you can to bring them together, because at the end of the day, man, we are one family. We are. Even in Christianity, this stuff is the same thing that God speaks about. There is neither Jew nor Greek, nor neither slave nor free. There is no male nor female, for you are all one in Christ Jesus. So in Christ, you are a child of God. Jesus is about bringing people together. And I think if a politician will learn this lesson to bring people together instead of dividing each other all the time, I get it. But there is time when division is necessary, though. If you go to Matthew chapter 10, Jesus actually says, I come like a sword to divide families, friends, and everything. Why? Because when Christ calls you sometime, others are not willing to follow along with the calling that God has for you. You must be divided from them. When God is calling you to do something, somebody else oppose that. You're gonna have to make some enemies to do the will of God. That's the religious side of the reality. But I think we should still strive for that. We should still say, what can we do to bring this country together? What can we do to bring people together, right? It should be the goal. And I'm hoping we can do more of that in our discussions and start seeing that all the Democrats are evil, all the Republicans are evil. Like, that's not, but at the end of the day, we are Americans. It's like, yeah, but we are still Americans, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, if the goal is for us to live together and work things out as a people, well, we're going to have to learn how it means to love each other irrespective of our differences. Not easy to do, but it is doable. Thank you so much for listening, though. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. I think Vivek Ramaswamy was the man. He still is. I love him. Praying for him. I really hope he can do what he says. But until then, Donald Trump has my vote. I wish him the very best. I really like this guy, man. I would like to see him somewhere up there doing great things just as he promises that he would, but he's not my president. He's not. I can't see that yet. Maybe next time. Maybe next time. 2028. See you then, 2028. God spares my life. He probably will get my vote. All right, friends. Like and subscribe to the page. Comment below. Share your thought and perspective with me. Do you agree, disagree? Where do you stand when it comes to this message? I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one. Bye.